As a teen, Bill DeWitt felt stifled by the Leave It to Beaver culture of the 50s. It's safe to say his family life did not match the lives of the families portrayed on television. His dad checked out and left, and Bill was punished harshly by his mother and stepfather. Sometimes it was for his uncanny resemblance to his biological father, and other times it was because Bill took up physical space. So it's no surprise that as a teen, Bill constantly grappled with what it meant to be a man. Then, after secretly wiring up a radio speaker in the attic one night, the music of Muddy Waters changed his life. And I'm always taken aback when people say that a song changed their life. Yet, it happens often. And it makes sense when you think about it, because music doesn't really observe any rules, It has almost a superhero quality to it. It can travel through time and space and show up anywhere it's needed. One final note here, Bill's daughter, Sophie DeWitt, works at BAMM and is a producer on this story. And if you like Bill's story and want more, remember to subscribe to Musical Yearbook. Okay, enjoy Bill's story, Missouri Misery.
Growing up, there was no music in my house, little laughter or affection, and absolutely no hint that sexuality or sensuousness or passion existed anywhere in the known universe. That is, until late one muggy summer night, I discovered Muddy Waters and the Blues. He didn't change my circumstances, but Muddy Waters changed my life. See, this was St. Louis, Missouri, or Misery as I called it, circa 1959. The city was completely segregated, isolated cultures on distant parallel tracks in time-space. The very best the dial on the white side of the universe could offer up was Perry Como, or the Mitch Miller Chorus, either one of whom would send you into glucose shock. But Muddy Waters and the friggin' Blues? See, I had just turned 15 years old, a straight-A student, Eagle Scout, Order of the Arrow, and totally, completely, maybe even irrevocably miserable. I was the classic 1950s good boy, stuck up to my neck in trying to please others. And I was totally clueless about how to become a man. My early adolescence was like a scene out of Revolutionary Road, except our fence was chipped and sunken in places, and oftentimes the cupboards were nearly empty, save for a few cans of string beans or corn. There was my bitter, demeaning mother, a child of the Depression, hovering like a wide-winged angel of judgment. I remember when my mother remarried, we moved into a small house with our new stepfather, and soon 2 new half-sisters, and filled that little house to the brim. My sweet Aunt Holly and Aunt May bought the house right behind us. Just on the other side of a fence, a strapping young boy could hurdle with one hand at full speed. I got to help Aunt May dig the holes for Holly's roses, while we swore together that there would always be enough room to play catch. And we would get to talk about why Stan the Man Musial was the best left-handed first baseman ever to play the game of baseball. Then things began to turn worse for me. The sarcasm and the ridicule began to escalate at home, and all the different flavors of physical violence began to blossom. Switches and spankings and slaps and trips to the basement. I couldn't help but wet the bed most every night, and the only respite seemed to be when I'd leap that fence. A different world where Aunt May would very gently let me know I was not crazy or weird, despite how different I felt from those around me. I'd been named after my genetic father, someone who I had no memory of, and whose face had been cut out of every old family photograph. Little did I know that as I moved into adolescence, I began to look more and more like him. My stepfather didn't seem to take warmly to the resemblance. He was rigid and heavy-handed and seemed to resent the very fact that I existed. His anger amplified the intensity of the whippings that he delivered to me periodically in our bleak basement. To my bitter, demeaning mother, I was the constant reminder of the man who broke her heart and deserted her home. My stepfather's other problem with me was that I took up space. To him, it was space that should have been the exclusive purview of his genetic daughters, my two younger, precious half-sisters. I was quarantined in the attic, removed from the rest of the house, and sweltering hot in the summer heat. I would quietly go up to the attic and lay on my cot, careful not to wake my siblings, sprawled out in the cooler windowed parts of the house. The air would be thick. The only sounds at night came from throngs of crickets in the tall grass and the occasional crunch of gravel as a Chevy made its way down our lane. These were nights when most teenagers felt invincible. But me, I was stuck in purgatory. 18 and freedom was still a long, long way from 15 and stuck. From my tiny dial-up radio, I had secretly wired a speaker that I could hide under my pillow in my attic sleeping room, so I could sneak a listen to something, anything, that wasn't white Wonder Bread vanilla. That radio became my small rebellion, my connection to the life that went on outside of my sad house. Life that I hoped was full and good and happy. I switched on the dial, closed my eyes, and waited. Muddy Waters' deep resonant voice rolled out over the radio waves. The bluesy electric guitar washed over me. This was otherworldly. There I lay. I had stumbled upon steamy revelations, and they poured into my mesmerized, starving ears. I laid on my cot for almost an hour, my neck craned to get as close as I could to that little speaker. This man, a black blues singer, made me feel like even I could be a mean, mannish boy. I felt, for once, that I was going to be okay. Aunt Holly and Aunt May, whose home had become a precious sanctuary for me, could only give me so much solace as I fumbled and stumbled my way blindly toward manhood. Their hugs would comfort me, and their unspoken but explicit acceptance of my differentness was a salve to my many bruises and hurts. But Muddy's passionate holler, it flung me beyond somewhere I hadn't even yet imagined. The blues, his blues, was the distilled clarion call of sirens, creating within me a fearlessness, a knowing that I wasn't wrong. The primal truth of his music reverberated through me, echoing from my core to my heart to my soul. Muddy assured me that I was right, just to want to feel totally alive.
For all things Musical Yearbook, check out themusicalyearbook.com. If you really like this podcast, subscribe to it right now. Do it. It'd be fantastic. And you'll get all the new episodes right away. Musical Yearbook is produced by BAMM.TV. Check out BAMM.TV for hundreds of videos by incredible indie artists. We have episodic content on there. We have documentary shorts. And as always, just head over to Facebook and type in BAMM.TV and follow. Have a good one.